Hey everybody, Jessica Coulter here. We are wrapping up our series about hobbies off the screen. All right, we are talking reason number 3, your teens need an off-screen hobby. The focus today, physical skills. So, as I've been asking all week, I want to know, does your teen have an off-screen hobby? And if he or she does, what are the skills that your teen is learning from that hobby? Because I got to tell you, there are lots and lots of skills that our teens can learn while playing video games, while maybe even watching videos, but there's a difference between watching it and actually doing it, and that's what we're talking about today. Before I jump into these skills, I want you to share your answers, and I want to invite you to join my Facebook group, Teaching Teens Love Learning, after the video. So, I think I've messed up my camera on YouTube. Sorry about that, everybody on YouTube. So, the first skill I really want to talk about, and like I said, we're focusing on more of the physical skills, but is this idea of how your teens really learning to do those hands-on things without actually doing them in real life, like without actually using their hands for real things. So like I think about all sorts of physical like activities. Like I know we have Peloton, we have all those, things that are more exercise related, and our teens can watch all sorts of different dance videos and do all those things. But I'm talking more things like I think about board games. I mean, yeah, there's so many electronic versions of board games, but there's a huge difference to have a hobby of actually touching the cards, rolling the dice, and moving your pawns than clicking buttons on the screen. Okay, another example I really think of is like any type of building. Okay, like I can think of lots of teens who are very hands on. So whether it's like they're outside building like fences, more kind of physical labor like that, or I'm thinking teens that are, you want to call them nerds, you want to call them geeks, that love to build Legos. They love to build things that move like robotics, things like that. Again, you really can't do those types of activities on a computer. I mean, yeah, like with CAD, you could create the different structures, you can create the different drawings that then your 3D printer prints or then that you machine, but at the same time, our teens actually have to go from the screen to something real, hands-on, physical to get all of the benefits of that hobby. Okay. And I had a parent not too long ago when I asked her, like, what hobby does your teen have? That doesn't involve a screen. She's like, well, does building computers, does building, electronics count? And yeah, for sure. Because there's a big difference between staring at a screen, watching a video, playing a game, than there is actually assembling that computer, assembling that whatever electronic thing. Okay. So the main point I'm trying to make here is that our teens need the physical activity. So that's kind of number one reason to be off the screen, because if we're watching videos or playing games, we're just sitting, we're not going to get any physical activities, and let alone adults. But teens definitely need, that movement, not just for physical health, but for mental health. It all goes together. But also, our teens are never going to actually learn those hands-on skills if they don't involve their hands. Okay, so let's talk about this more in a second. Before I do, if you're just now joining us, thanks for watching the Ace Cookie Tutoring and Study with Jessie channel on YouTube and the page on Facebook. So make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, because I'm Jessica Coulter, CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring and Study with Jessie. And we are talking study skills, we're talking all things learning for your teens, and I don't want you to miss any future videos. All right. What else do I want to tell you all about physical activity and the benefits of an off-screen hobby? Well, I want you to think about those things that you know how to do, mamas. Like think of those things you've learned to do, whether it's changing a tire, whether it's, putting a piece of furniture together that you bought at the store, whether it's baking. There's all sorts of different activities. The list goes on and on. All of them could be hobbies, except maybe changing tires, unless your kid, is some kind of mechanic and loves, that kind of work, way more intense than probably words. I don't know for sure. But definitely, if you think about it, you can read and read and read about it. And that works really well for our visual learners. And, you could tell your kid about it. Again, that works really well for our auditory learners. But our kinesthetic learners and really anyone to actually get the experience needs to get off their butts and do the thing. Okay, so I want your teens to have an off-screen hobby because there are physical skills that can only be practiced in real life. And no matter how many videos, no how many books your teen reads, it's just not enough. And obviously reading, I love reading, but in this day and age, there's so many Kindles and was it Nooks and things like that that your teens can look again at a screen while reading. So we want them to be physical. We want them to get their hands moving. We want them to do some actual actions to learn problem solving and critical thinking and all of those skills that really are honed by physical activity, aka physical hobbies. Okay, because if it's a hobby, your teen's going to do it more often, which means your teen's going to get better at it, which is going to be beneficial in the long run, just like we talked about earlier this week for school, let alone just giving your teen a break from staring at a screen like he does or she does pretty much all day, every day at school and even at home for homework. So have an awesome weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you're not a member of my Facebook group, Teaching Teens Love Learning, would love to have you. The link's in the description. Click on that, answer a couple questions, and you'll be in. When you join the group, you will learn how to help your teen love to learn through study skills. So see you in the group soon so I can teach your teen these study skills I imagine your teen needs and doesn't currently have. And you will definitely see a difference in your teen's interest in school, motivation, and ability to manage time, let alone all of the other study skills I teach teens. Bye now.